Hello, and welcome to Garblag Games. Hopefully. I shall now hand over to Aaron, who will do all the spiel.
Thanks, Ben, and thanks everybody for joining us either here live on Twitch or later on YouTube. I'm Aaron, and I'm going to be your game master as we dive into a score today with our newly named crew, the Red. Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm going to go around the table and let the players introduce themselves, starting with Ty.
Hey, I'm Ty. You can find me as full of DM in places, but for right now, I'm Waziki, a lovable pirate or former pirate who now does their robbing of nobles on land via gambling and the help of their lovely, lifelong companion, Eye Patches, the monkey.
Ben?
That's it.
I am playing Drogo Rivo, also known as Placid, because he is not. He is a lunatic of the first water, and I am a whisper, but a whisper who hates ghosts, because why not? That sounds like fun. And I get my kicks and rest and relax by finding hidden cults and then pranking them into actually thinking that real stuff is happening.
I love it. I'm looking forward to downtime. And Pat.
Howdy ho, good folks. I'm portraying Madame Asaria Bellevue tonight. I'm Spider Queen Long, or Pat, as you well know. And Madame Asaria Bellevue is the bastard daughter of a noble family from Elysia, and she's out for blood, quite literally, because she loves the stuff, a marvelous substance. Watching it flow is simply divine. It's her calling in life. She's here to facilitate as much blood flow as possible.
Looking forward to seeing Mistress in action. Jeff, tell us about Leadbelly.
Hi, I'm Leadbelly Brian. I am a Akarosi by culture and tradesman. Well, formerly, until a few things went missing. Devices, substances, people. And now I am no longer a qualified tradesman. But I am a leech, and I am well prepared. What are we doing again? I don't remember. Because I'm in a stupor like 90% of the time.
That is Leadbelly. And last but not least, for his first appearance, and perhaps his last, Lewis, talk to us about Biscuits.
Oh, I'm Lewis, and I'm playing Spence Rush, aka Biscuits, a former Imperial military man who, since being betrayed and disappearing down the drain into the depths of the underworld, spends his time shooting stuff and his downtime punching stuff until it punches him so hard he can no longer punch stuff.
So that's our crew of assassins. We're going to jump into a very brief recap so you are caught up with what happened last time, and then we'll dive right into the score. So, last time the Red Ledgers were given an opportunity or an introduction to a crime boss named Ilyana Komarov in Silkshore. They met with her and her two lieutenants, Sasha Sandhart and Horace Beck, in her speakeasy/casino called Kolyuchka's, off the Bridge of Fortune. Miss Komarov offered them a job or an audition. And if they succeeded, they would be welcomed into her crime family in Silkshore. The job wasn't going to necessarily be easy, but if they succeed, it would net them 6 coin and gain them some turf. You see, a group of Skov veterans under the leadership of a former Skov commander named Ingolf Holgerson had forcefully taken part of Ilyana Komarov's territory, a block of row houses at the corner of Fetter Lane and Steep Street in the maze of Fogcrest. When Miss Komarov sent an envoy to explain how things work in Silkshore, who happened to be her nephew, he was sent back horribly maimed using a method known to the Skovs as the Living Death. Holgerson's gang, of course, immediately began to fortify their position, expecting retaliation. Now, Miss Komarov recognized that if she was to go after them herself, it would weaken weaken her position within Silkshore. So she's hired you to do it for her. The requirements are simple. You are to bring Ingolf Holgerson back to Kolyuchka's in 3 days' time at the hour of silver, marching him, naked, bound, and gagged, back into her office where she will be meeting with the other crew bosses in her territory. You're not to say a thing, but you're to place him in a chair at her desk, in front of her desk, put 2 stashes worth of coin on her desk, bow, and walk out without saying a word. If you can do that at the appointed hour, you get turf, you get a seat at the table, you get 6 coin. Caveat: if you run across and have to engage with any members of his gang, you need to make sure that they don't walk away from it and that no death crows come circling over her territory at the end of the score. Of course, as a crew of assassins with the Crow's Veil special ability, death crows aren't anything you have to worry about. Of course, if you leave a lot of dead bodies lying around, ghosts may be something you need to worry about. So we did a little bit of gathering information last time. The crew found out some very interesting things. They found out that this gang of SCO veterans were all from a single special forces unit, for want of a better word, led by Ingolf Holgerson. That they are loosely aligned, at least rumor-wise, with Ulf Ironborn, who's been in Duskfall for a while. That they're attempting to get a hold in the criminal underworld here for whatever reason, you're not sure. You also know that they are fortifying their position and that their leader is only allowing them out 2 at a time to establish their protection racket. They're a tough nut to crack, but you decided, based on information that Placid found, to use a deception mission. And that he, after having spent some coin to rent a cart and some goats and some disguises, is going to insult them out of their bolt hole as he drives by.
The disguises are for the goats, I hasten to add.
Disguises for the goats. The rest of the crew, if that is successful, will find a way to infiltrate this row of blockhouses, find Ingolf Holgerson, capture him, and bring him back. 2 days of gathering information have passed. This is the day, at the hour of silver, that you need to march Ingolf Holgerson back into Kolyuchka's. It's late afternoon. The streets of Duskfall are dark. Radiant globes begin to light the areas of Fogcrest, and you start to hear the sounds of revelry in Silkshore. A cart pulled by goats is slowly making its way down Steep Street, approaching the maze. Placid is sitting at the reins.
There is no way this can go badly.
And as a reminder for everybody, they already did the engagement roll, and they are in a desperate situation.
With 0 successes.
With limited effectiveness. And for behind the GM screen, because people had asked me a little bit about why I said it as limited. So it's limited because 1, the gang is a higher tier than they are. 2, they figured out during the gather information phase that the leader of the gang has told them, the rest of his gang, to hold up, fortify their position, and not leave, essentially, except for 2 at a time. And 3, they are expecting trouble because during the gather information, a clock ticked over and the gang realized, this gang of SCO veterans realized that somebody is looking into their business. So that's why we're at a desperate situation with limited chance of success as Placid brings his goat cart in front of the maze. Take it away, Placid.
Well, I believe that Lewis wanted to jump in first and had a plan for his own little flashback.
I like it.
Yeah, sure. So, Biscuits hasn't been around much lately because, Placid settled on this plan, and Biscuits has been slowly ingratiating himself with the people of the maze so that he can climb up to the highest point in one of the buildings with a nice little lookout over preferably an area that seems just about narrow enough to get a cart through and possibly a bunch of people chasing. And he sat perched up there with a rifle
Like so,
and a length of rope.
did Biscuits attempt to do this without being seen or detected?
Is it obvious that I'm part of the Red Ledgers?
No, not necessarily. However, if you were noticed, then maybe someone in this gang of Scovelanders might realize where you're at.
Yeah.
If you would like to get up there unseen, I'd need a roll.
I think more likely he probably set up like a couple of tripwires along the way up just to let him know someone's coming. And I mean, Biscuits didn't go up there like carrying a rifle around, but a nice big bag that looks like it's full of tools.
I like it.
And the length of rope is tied to the side and measured out to be as long as the side of the building.
Nice. I will. That's something pretty easy. That's something that Biscuits would normally do and know how to do. So that's a zero stress flashback. I mean, that's a walk in the park for Biscuits. So you are perched where you want to be, rifle in hand, ready. And we swing the camera back around to Placid as you hear the cartwheels turning over on the cobblestones as they come down the steep street in the near pitch black darkness as just a few of the radiant globes start glowing along the street. What do you do, Placid?
Right, this is where I engage the brilliant plan. So, banging pots and pans, having them tied on the side of the cart so they rattle and make lots of sort of kitcheny noises, things like that. Shouting these insults about that particular Scovish organization at the top of my lungs, casting aspersions on their tendency to raid supply lines, cook stabbers and things like that, and just generally being really horrible and unpleasant to them. And the goats are wearing their uniform, or a uniform close to theirs. And there'll be like a couple of goats pulling the cart, and then another one in there wearing the uniform. Obviously, their leader.
Shaved bald.
Oh, yeah.
It's got mileage. Sure, why not?
All right. What kind of roll do you think you want to make for this?
Now, this, I believe, is a rec roll, because this is creating a distraction with chaos.
I like it. So you are, as I said, desperate with limited effect. Now, for everybody back at home, there are one of three ways that Placid could change the effect. Now, the desperate is already set, because that was set from the engagement roll. You can change effect by either trading position for effect, which means you would go from desperate to extreme standard effect. You can push yourself.
An option.
It's an option within the game, but they don't really write about it in the game because it's so dangerous. So dangerous. But some people are reckless. Your second option would be to push yourself, take 2 stress, and instead of taking the extra die, you could change your effect. So you would be desperate standard then, or Placid or one of the members of the crew could come up with a clever flashback, which might cause some stress or other things that would somehow impact the effect here.
We've already got the devil's bargain, haven't we?
Nope, not for this.
Not for this. I'm not going to take a devil's bargain on this, because that would be silly. I will push myself.
Okay.
Anybody else want to throw anything in?
Right. I think we had thrown this idea. I think we can do possibly a flashback setup thing here. as Leadbelly added some extra ingredients to the uniforms for these goats that maybe Placid knows about, maybe he doesn't. And so on a flashback, it's crude to Leadbelly stuffing and the goats filled with various explosives. We'll call it smoke bombs. I don't want to get old Placid killed. So that they can kind of, go off at a particular point and maybe set it on some sort of timer. So like when we departed, and I okay, it'll take him approximately X amount of minutes to go from where we last were together to the end of the road. And so I would like to try to set up some smoke bombs and such inside the goats / their uniforms.
I love it. So we flash back to Leadbelly. He's fashioning these smoke bombs. He's maybe hiding them in cheese to get them fed into the goats, and he's strapping them to the goats.
Can we go with it being in their tack rather than inside the goats?
Sure, in the tack.
That's
of the
what
goats.
I meant. That's exactly what I meant.
Now, but I think we're gonna need a roll here for the timing to make sure that they're timed properly. What do you think you would want to roll to time these smoke bombs?
I was thinking Tinker, if that's all right.
I like it. So this is controlled.
Such.
I mean, you're doing it back in your layer, so it's controlled standard effect. Let's see what we get.
Okay. And because it's important, can I push myself?
You can. Take 2 stress and push yourself.
Because I want to drum her out like super fast. Okay. As a Tinker. So it's controlled, you said?
Yeah, controlled.
Okay, controlled. And then effect.
Standard.
Is standard. Okay. So when the bonus dice come up, is that where I should just put the 1 extra dice for my stress?
Yep.
I'll make sure I'm doing it correctly.
Got a 5, so that's a success with some consequences. In a controlled situation, what that means is you can't quite get the timing right, so you can fall back and you can try again, but now the situation is risky. Something could actually happen, something could go wrong here that's going to impact it. Or that's one potential consequence. The other consequence is I'm going to tick a clock on these goats, and the smoke bombs are going to go off at a random time, and you guys aren't going to know when that's going to be. And you're not going to know how many pieces are in the clock.
Do it.
The chaos clock.
Do it.
That sounds like fun.
Chaos clock.
That
We've got
just
the
sounds
chaos
like
clock.
us.
Got the chaos clock.
Works.
So that was a 1 stress flashback, because that's something, tinkering is something that you would do. So you took a total of 3 stress for that flashback. We're back to Placid.
All right, so
Placid,
does that add
make me
anything to me?
So you automatically now you go from desperate limited to desperate standard effect.
Yep. And then I pushed myself as well.
So you can either go from desperate standard with an extra die, or you can go desperate with a great effect for having pushed yourself.
I'm going to take the extra die, I think.
Okay. But before you do that, I need you to roll me a fortune roll.
Okay.
1 die.
Where are you, fortune button? There you are. Fortune button. Here we go. Da, 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 da. What do you mean input value?
Just one die.
I already input that. Hey, look
You
at that.
got a 1.
No, I didn't get a 1. That was.
Oh, you just put in number 1?
Yeah, that was the. Sorry, number of dice. 1. Submit. And then it says input value. Oh, just submit anyway.
Yeah, you actually.
Right,
you
there we
actually
go.
did roll.
Fine.
That's a little nicer.
You actually did roll a 1.
Oh, did it actually
You
roll?
hover over the 1.
Sorry, I thought it had just input a 1. No, I'll take the 1. That's okay.
Okay. So right as you get up there and you start your cursing, the smoke bombs go off.
Yes.
However, we're gonna let you roll. So you got your desperate standard effect, extra die.
Here we go.
See what happens.
Desperate. Standard. Extra die.
At least they can't see you to kill you.
Activate!
You got a 4. So desperate. So you succeeded with consequences on a desperate action. So this is what's going to happen. So you start cursing. The smoke bombs go off. The entire block goes up. There's and you hear gunfire, and you hear the front door open. You can't see any of this because of the smoke. As 4 of the gang members come rushing out to bum rush your cart. You feel an impact.
Oh no.
You feel something pushing you across the seat of the cart. Your head smacks down against the seat. You can't breathe. You can't take a breath. You're not exactly sure what's happened. You almost feel like you're looking down at your body from outside. And then you feel your heartbeat. And then as you feel your heartbeat, it almost feels like you feel blood pumping out of your body. You've been shot.
Don't you hate it when that happens? Damn it, Biscuits. You're supposed to shoot the bad guys.
The question is, do you want to resist it?
Yes, I do.
Now, there's 2 ways to resist in this game. One, you can tick off enough load to have armor and resist some of the effects by clicking off of your armor. Basically, the armor ablates some of the damage. If you're wearing heavy armor, you can ablate quite a bit of the damage. But you run the risk. Heavy armor has its own consequences.
I specifically said last session that I wasn't going to be wearing armor.
Yep. So the only other way to resist it is you make a resistance roll.
Yeah.
And since this is a physical, it's going to be against prowess. And we'll see how you do.
Okay, its prowess isn't bad. So what's special armor? Isn't there supposed to be a special armor thing that we all have?
No, not everybody. You get that's a special ability that each one of you can take that gives you a different kind of option.
All right, so I'm rolling just base prowess then.
Just base prowess. Okay, so that's not a bad roll. So you get a 4. So you take 2 stress from resisting the damage. And now the desperate damage, that would be level 3 harm.
Yeah.
However, you resisted it. You took it down to 1 block of your level 2 harm, and it's broken ribs.
Nice.
So the round came in. It broke the ribs on your left-hand side. That's what knocked you over in the seat. You're still gasping, finding a hard time to draw breath. And 4 members of this gang are lurching out of the building with blood in their eyes. What do the rest of you do? You guys hear the smoke bombs go off. You hear the curses. You hear the front door bang open. You hear shots fired. You might have even heard a small yelp of pain from Placid. What do you do?
May I make a flashback?
You may.
Yesterday, I was in the in the neighborhood of my good associate Bosco Baz, and I might have asked him during some sort of interaction that we were having, where I might come upon an outfit that did indeed look similar to the outfits that these associates of the person we're trying to capture and perhaps come up with something that I might disguise myself in to look like them. Would that be an appropriate flashback?
Oh, yeah.
A fetish club attack.
Dear mistress, that's not a problem. There's SCOV uniforms all over the place. We can get something fixed up for you, my dear. For you, I can get something fixed up. That's not a problem. So that's pretty simple. I'm not going to make you roll for it. Just do a fortune roll to see how good the uniform looks.
Now, did I tell you could speak? No.
Oh, sorry, mistress. I forget myself in these moments.
No apologizing. All right. Now let me make that roll. Where's the button? Is it a top?
Right.
Side?
Bottom right hand.
Bottom right. There we are. Let's do it. 1 dice, I'm assuming?
Yep. No, actually give yourself... Oh, 6 doesn't matter. You're good. I was going to give you 2 dice. But you rolled 2 instead of 0. Anyway. So it works. So a 6, obviously, he's he's a well-connected gang boss, so he gets you an actual uniform from their unit. Says, I got it off. Hey, there was a corpse from their unit, and before it got buried, I pulled the uniform for you, mistress. So it's perfect. It is a perfect uniform. One stress flashback for that, and you have the uniform.
You always know how to make me happy.
I hope to see you again soon.
Of course. Next time. Or same time next week. Right, I'm topping that stress off. And so I'm going to be in uniform, waiting around the corner for the door to open. And if I may, and I'd like to try to slip in while the door's open.
I like it. That's going to be a roll. What kind of roll
course.
do you think you want to make here?
So to me, this seems like a prowl.
That works.
I don't know. I think prowl is probably the most appropriate.
Okay, with a prowl roll, under the circumstances, you've got cloud of smoke everywhere. You've got chaos. The door is open, so it's controlled standard. You can literally walk right in.
Jesus. All right. And the bonus dice 0.
Unless you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain. Either way.
What would the devil's bargain on this be?
The devil's bargain would be people in this gang are going to eventually recognize and realize that you're not actually a Scove veteran. And the information that you're desecrating one of their uniforms is going to get back to Ulf Ironborn, and we're going to tick some more off of the clock that says Ulf Ironborn is coming to kill you all. I.e., you guys go to war. Okay. You take 2 stress.
Because they're going to get there anyway. I'd rather not make that happen sooner. 2 stress, you said?
2 stress to push yourself to get the extra die.
All right, let's do it.
Fine. So controlled. So you're moving towards it, and well, one of 2 things is going to happen. So you succeeded with consequences. So there's 1 or 2 consequences. I'm going to let you pick one. Either you start to go around, you're starting to go up the stairs, and you notice these guys' heads swivel. They're combat veterans. So the moment you move, they swivel and they see you. And they're going to recognize that you're not part of their crew. It's not going to stop them. So one consequence is you get recognized and we tick off Ulf's clock anyway. The second consequence is you realize as you're moving that they start to look at you and you pull back and you can try a different approach.
Sway him, Pat. Send him out to chase.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Brilliant. I actually was thinking something along those lines, but you articulating it solidified it in my head. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna take the. They notice me. They recognize that I might not be of their ilk.
So you don't actually need to take that. If you're going to fall back and try a different approach, you can just try to sway them, and you will not suffer any consequence. It's just the dice roll is going to be different now.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure which one that took. Yes, I do want to try to convince them.
Okay, so this is desperate limited to begin with, because you're going to be giving commands to a group of veterans who've been working together for a long time, and they're not going to recognize you unless you can come up with something to change the scenario. So once again, desperate limited, you can push yourself to make it desperate standard. You can take, or you can change position and effect and go extreme for standard.
Can I help as well?
How would you help?
By having eye patches run in as well and go a different direction, pulling the eye off of them, making it easier, hopefully, to sway them and be like, yeah, I'm on your team, and then they would all go together or something.
I love it. So you're doing an assist roll. So you see Mistress coming around, and you see the scenario developing in front of you. And you have eye patches go run in so that her sway is more convincing. What kind of rolls do you think you want to make for eye patches to make this happen?
I would say probably either skirmish or prowl. Probably prowl, I would assume, or finesse.
Finesse or prowl would be okay.
We'll go with prowl. Sure.
Okay. So it's going to be a risky standard effect. I mean, he's a monkey, so
Cool.
if he gets through the door, he gets through the door.
And since it's eye patches, do I just roll prowl on my sheet? I assume.
Now you roll for his tier, so he's doing this by himself. So he gets 1 die.
Cool.
So I mean, you just make a fortune roll with 1 die, and we determine it. But
got you. Sounds good to me. I see.
5. Okay, so he gets inside with consequences. Standard. Perfect. He's going through the door, and one of them sees him going through the door, and they pull a pistol and fire, and he gets winged. So he is now wounded.
Never mind me. Save the monkey.
He's not dead, but he's wounded. And since he is he's a tier 1 expert and he's wounded at this point, he's going to go find a bolt hole somewhere inside of this building and lay low and lick his wound. So he's effectively out of the scores as an active participant at this point, but he has successfully drawn their attention. So now, Pat, you were at desperate standard effect.
Good luck.
Man, we're under attack. Or I'm going to say it in presumably my character's better at doing a Scovish accent than I am, so I'm not even going to attempt. Man, we're under attack. To the battle stations. We have to go, we need backup outside. So this was desperate and
desperate standard, yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask you what the devil's bargain is, but I'm probably just gonna push again.
Okay, the devil's bargain, once again, is even if this works, they're eventually going to figure out that you're not a Scov vet, you stole the uniform, and Ulf Ironborn is going to take extreme offense to this, and you'll be ticking your way closer to war with him.
That is kind of the point, but I don't want them to get my goat too soon. So I'm going to go ahead.
Well, if you succeed, it won't happen right now. It'll be something that they figure out later that you pulled the wool over their eyes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I'm going to go for it then.
Okay. Devil's bargain taken. So this roll is also going to determine. Oh my God!
Fuck me!
Yeah.
So
worth it.
So only one piece of that pie ticks off, and they absolutely believe you. They're like, right. We got to go. And 2 more of the gang come running out the front door to help the other 4 deal with this cart, leaving the doorway open. And since you got a crit, you can just walk in the front door without a roll.
Ollie.
I dip my hat as I allow my compatriots in as well.
All right. We've got Leadbelly and
assuming they want to join. I'm assuming.
What's your plan here?
Let's go find the boss.
So you guys want to go in. Now, how do you want to get in the front door? I mean, Mistress just sauntered in.
Zeke's just gonna slip on in. They got their shadow cloak.
Okay. Do you want to lead a group action with Lead to Belly?
I definitely that sounds pretty good. If I assume if it's a group action, using the silent potion veil won't really work too well because
you can give it to Leadbelly and he won't make any sound, so it would help. I would let that help.
I'm like,
Biscuits.
Here you.
Are you going in with him or are you staying on the roof?
Like the moment that Placid gets shot, Biscuits reaches over and to the left of his rifle on the floor are his rounds, but above them are his biscuits, and he takes one of those and puts it in his mouth.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay, Maziki pulls his shadow cloak up, gives Leadbelly a silent potion, and leads
Drink this.
leads him in the front door.
Okay.
So what kind of roll are we looking at here?
I'd say we're doing a good old prowl.
Okay, so both of you roll prowl. And I will give a free bonus die to Leadbelly for his prowl because he's silent.
Nice.
It is risky, standard effect.
And since I'm using the shadow cloak, that improves the effect?
Yes, so you go risky, great effect.
Awesome. All right.
Does my action at the door assist in any way to this? Potentially?
It leaves the door open and
valid.
It allows us to get in.
It allows us to even make these rolls.
Yes, it basically sets up the situation to get you guys in the front door.
If I push myself, that moves me to desperate. Is that correct? Instead of risky, or no? I forget how it works.
No, if you push yourself and take 2 stress, you can either get an extra die, or you would go risky, great effect.
Oh,
one or the other.
Am I not already great?
You already are great, yeah. So it would be risky, extreme effect. However, you don't. I mean, you might be better off taking the extra die.
Yeah, I got you. I just forget how one gets. I remember people being able to move their position to desperate on purpose.
You can. So you can always move up your position to move up your effect. So like you can always go. You can always go risky standard. You can move it up to desperate for great effect because you're doing something that's pushing the envelope.
Got you.
Or you can change your effect by taking 2 stress and increasing the effect by 1.
Cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push myself, and I'm going to take the extra die since I'm already at great because of the cloak. And when I push it, it's 2 stress, right?
Correct.
Awesome. All right, so great. And I get a bonus die. Perfect. All right.
A
1, a 6, and a 2.
Beautiful. So, you and Leadbelly slip in, but while you're slipping him in, you see Leadbelly start to shimmy a little bit, gets out of line. You know, you redline for a moment inside. You know, your heart starts pounding. You get him set back right. You get in, but you take 1 stress from helping him get in.
I like it.
So the stress meters are ticking. Everybody who's going in is in.
So
you've moved.
Yes. Question, Aaron. Teamwork maneuvers, though. I thought the leader takes 1 stress for like 1 to 3 results. Is Ty taking a stress because of my 3?
Yes.
Is that what it is? Okay. I just want to make sure I got that right.
Yep, that's why. So when he led, like if Leadbelly had gotten a 4, 5, or 6, you would not have taken any stress from helping him in.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are in. You're in the entryway. You shut the door behind you. You see a dark hallway in front of you. You see clear signs of recent construction. There are doors that are boarded up. There are holes in walls. And it is quite dark. There's 1 radiant globe at the far end of the hall. Obviously, they're trying to make it difficult for people coming through. What would you like to do? Think about that while we get back to Placid, as 6 members of this gang come charging at your cart. You've been shot. You're injured. Your ribs are broken.
Laugh like a drain and giddy up the goats.
Okay. You're in a smoke cloud. You're in pain. What would you like to roll to get these goats going where you want them to go? Now, typically, for those out there, like animal handling and driving carts and things like that, is usually a finesse roll. Doesn't mean you have to use finesse here, but that's typically what we would see.
I do not know. I'm not very good at finesse in that I can't do it.
Do it. It's just
hard.
I got some skirmish. I got some wreck. I got some attune. That's kind of what I do.
I mean, wreck, because you're leading them to where the chaos is going to be.
Absolute chaos. I'm just going to and spur these goats on with shouting and clanking and lots of noise and drama and action and clouds of smoke everywhere. Probably drawing an audience.
Okay, I will say risky limited effect because the goats are freaked out and they're covered in smoke. They can't see anything. And anybody who knows goats knows they don't like to be in those kind of situations. So you're currently at risky limited effect with charging the goats down Steep Street past Fetter Lane and heading towards the Forum.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it to Desperate so that I can move it up to Standard.
I like it.
And what the hell? I'm already injured. I'm gonna push myself.
Get that extra
But I lose a dice, don't I?
What do you mean? No, because you've only got one block of your level 2
okay.
arm. You have to fill both of them.
All right, splendid. Here we go then.
6. It works. It works beautifully. So the goats, you're yelling and smacking. These goats freak out and they buck and they charge away down Steep Street. And the slope of the street itself is helping you. The cart is almost bumping up against the back of these goats as you're pushing them towards the Forum. And you start to leave these 6 men in the dust. Back to Biscuits. You're at the top of you're sitting on the building. What do you do?
6 men following the
Yeah, they're charging after the goats still. I mean, Placid has succeeded in his mission. He is drawing away half of the gang.
Invoke a flashback then?
You may.
It's like a 2-part-ish flashback. One involves Biscuits talking to Leadbelly and rifling through his bag of very explosive things. And the other one is kind of like, as you see Placid go past with the goats, it flashes back to Biscuits walking roughly in the same area and settling one of the explosives next to a crooked-looking wall where hopefully they'll pass by.
And how is this explosive going to be set off?
I'm going to shoot it with a rifle.
I love it. Okay, so I'm going to say, that's an easy flashback. Now I'm going to say it's going to cost the gang 1 coin because of the amount of explosives you guys have procured for this. But it's a 0 stress flashback because it's something you guys would have. So if you're okay with that, you guys lose 1 coin from your stash. And you placed the explosive a day ago. And it's obscure. It almost looks just like brickwork up against this building. Nobody even notices it. The question is, can you hit it in the dark, in a field of smoke? What kind of roll do you want to make?
Feels very hunty.
It does feel very hunty to me. So
especially as I think Biscuits is also going to wait and eye them as they go towards or follow Placid and the goats. Wait until he sees the one who looks like he's the highest in rank, or they're the highest in rank in the group, passes by the explosives, and that's the moment to set it off.
I love this. I love this plan. So we're going to call it risky standard effect. I mean, this is the kind of shot you made every time, but you're trying to time it perfectly. So
in the dark.
In the dark.
So
is it going off on them or behind them?
As I haven't done.
I think he's going. It's going off to get them.
Oh, cool.
In the blast.
Yeah.
So
I want to take at least a few of them.
So Lewis, for your for your awareness, so you're in a situation now where you can take 2 stress and push yourself for an extra die.
Yeah.
You can take 2 stress and increase your effect to great. You can take a devil's bargain to get yourself an extra die. Or you can increase your position to increase your effect, going from risky standard to desperate great. Any of those options are on the table if you want to take them.
I haven't got much stress at the moment, so I'm going to push it.
I like it. So you take 2 stress, you want the extra die, or do you want greater effect?
I'm going to take the extra die. I want it to at least go off.
I like it.
So do I press that before hitting?
So there'll be a pop up that comes up for the bonus die. You put the one bonus die in it.
Okay, let me try that again. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So it's still risky, right?
Correct. Risky, standard effect, one bonus die.
Effect, one bonus die.
6, thing of beauty. So you're laying up there, just caress that trigger.
The
round goes
biscuit
off.
between his mouth, but he's not chewing on it.
The explosion just obliterates through this area. And give me a fortune roll with a number of die equal to your hunt skill. 5. So from your amazing shot, you did exactly what you wanted. You killed the leader. However, the shot was so perfectly placed that the other 5 men chasing Placid are also caught in the blast and either killed or maimed to the point that they are no longer in the chase. Back inside the building. You guys are in the entryway. The door is shut. You heard the explosion go off behind you. You're hoping that your convoluted plan is working as you wanted. What do you want to do?
Mistress, shall we split up, decide to find out where they are, where our mark is? We'll make it quicker. There would have been 4 of us, but Eye Patches is probably licking his wounds.
Actually, Eye Patch at that point crawls out from a corner and just gets in your coat, and he's mewling. It's just a graze along his fur, but he's never been shot before, so he's sucking it up for sympathy.
Oh, I take the supply that Biscuits has given me of biscuits in my pocket and hand it to him. So he's got biscuits.
Might I, at this juncture, do a quick study of the room and determine if I can figure out the most likely place that we could find the leader?
Sure.
From this location?
Sure. So you're in the corridor of the main row house. Go ahead and give me study. Controlled. There's nobody else around you right now, so it's controlled standard effect.
Okay. Here's to hoping. And is there a devil's bargain to this? Or
yeah, there's always a devil's bargain. So the devil's bargain here is the devil's bargain here is you guys are going to leave evidence, some form of evidence that you pass through here that's going to help identify the red ledgers as being responsible for it. So once again, we tick off the clock.
You know what? I'm going to take it.
I love it. So you get a bonus die.
Glad I did.
5, 2 and a 5. Nice. So succeed with consequences. So here we're just going to say you get less information. The consequences, as you're studying this hallway, what you can really tell from it is that it looks like they've changed the interior of this entire block. They've cut out walls. They've connected buildings. They've blocked off corridors. They've blocked off rooms. Instead of being the standard design row houses you expected to come into, it has become a maze of, it looks like 4 or 5 row houses that are now all interconnected. Now, what we're going to do here is we have 2 competing clocks. One is finding Ingolf, and the other is the jig is up. And the jig is up means that the rest of the crew find you before you find Ingolf. Now, with your study roll, we're going to tick off a block, 2 blocks actually, for finding Ingolf with a 5. But you get 1 block off of the jig is up for part of the consequences of not getting a 6, basically. So You guys are
Okay.
looking around. You're making a little bit of noise. You hear other movement throughout this complex of interconnected row houses, but nothing sounds really close. You're not sure, other than the fact that there is no clear path to Ingolf Holgerson at this moment. But that's the information that you managed to glean. So you know that it's going to be a search.
Okay. Well, splitting up seems ill-advised to me at this juncture. We're up against quite a few people. Let's stay together in a
Yeah,
close
but you look
group.
like that, and we look like this. That'll be a...
Oh, you have a good point.
Yeah, that belly looks like an iron oven just moving around.
Yeah.
Clink, clink, clink.
All right, we could split up, but we'd have to return at a certain point. We'd have to figure out a means to contact each other. And, she lays out a couple of other things that we could potentially backtrack to. Fine. We're splitting up. I'll go down that path. You go down that.
And
Really?
the scene cuts for a second back to Placid on the cart. The goats are exhausted. You're in the forum now. You've made that hard right turn, and you're down in the forum where all the street hawkers are. You're approaching the Azure Bridge. The goats are tired, but you realize that no one is following you. What would you like to do?
I think I'm going to slow them down to like a gentle canter. Do goats canter? Probably
We'll call
not.
it a canter.
And turn them up the violet stairs. And then go up to 600 steps and then turn back towards the maze that way.
Okay, so you're taking your time. So there's no roll required here. You're moving this cart of goats around now. You've separated yourself from all the chaos and you've just blended into the traffic. The camera then swings
I'll take
back, goes.
while they're going along, I'll start taking the pots and pans off and getting the bits of uniform off that I can. So it looks like a regular cart.
Nice. And then we come down and we focus back down on Biscuits with a biscuit in his mouth and his rifle in his hand. You've seen the others go inside now and the door shut behind them. You saw from your vantage point the cart turn around the forum and start to disappear. What would Biscuits do?
Look like there's anyone else around.
You see no one else outside from this gang, but a lot of other people are pouring out of buildings here in Fogcrest after the explosion, the gunshots, the smoke bombs going off. So there are people milling about in the street now. Quite a few of them are Scove refugees, but there's also a bunch of Akarosi in the mix, and you see some Severosi as well. But there is definitely a crowd forming around the maze trying to figure out what just happened. But no sign of blue coats yet.
Yeah, I think Biscuits is going to vacate his vantage point and sort of probably dumping the rifle somewhere in a corner in an alleyway, sort of wander out, confused looking into the crowd, looking around, what's going on, with his hands in his pocket as he
I like it.
saunters towards the building.
So Biscuit casually becomes just another face in the crowd as we come back to Wazuki and Leadbelly, who've taken a turn away from Mistress, disguised as a Scove veteran. What are the two of you reprobates going to do?
Leadbelly, you don't make any noise right now. You can
No,
smash as hard as you want.
I don't even know where I'm at. I can't even see my shadow. Where's my shadow? Leadbelly wants to moving around through the hallways, looking for any signs of something locked or like jammed shut, looking for doors that are not supposed to be open, so that they can, open them. And then anything like that is what we're looking for.
What kind of role do you think Leadbelly would be making for that?
So, if it's just for the looking, survey would probably be the best thing to do, I'd imagine. It's looking for any signs of something like this is a place that they're trying to keep hidden. There's something hidden behind here. That kind
I
of
like
thing.
it. I like it. That's a controlled. I mean, you guys are at the moment. You're in no danger, so it is controlled standard effect.
Okay. Hey, Zaki. I can't say so good because I've got this big metal plate on my face. Which way am I going? Okay, I've got to really fit this thing.
I'm begging for help.
Yeah. So, Wazuki or Tai, you can assist another character by taking one stress yourself and giving them a bonus dice.
I will do that. Yes, as I help lead them where to smash.
And obviously, Leadbelly, even though you can't push yourself now, but you could still take a devil's bargain.
What would that be?
That devil's bargain would be that once again, it becomes obvious who you guys are after everything is cleared. And the Skovland veteran leader, Ulf Ironborn, is going to want to track you guys down and have words.
Oh, that sounds fun. Let's do it. That sounds
all
great.
Right. I like it. So you get 2 bonus die on your survey roll.
Position?
Your position, your controlled standard effect.
Controlled standard. Thank you.
Nice, that crit.
Okay, so you took the devil's bargain, so we still click 1 point off the pie, but the two of you looking around and your fine senses of knowing how to wreck, you actually find a doorway that's clearly, it's not so much that it's been boarded over, but they've disguised it. It's obviously that they're trying to disguise it by putting a fine sheen of plaster over so nobody realizes that there was ever a doorway there. So with the crit, you take nothing off the jig is up and 3 pieces of the pie off of finding Ingolf, which means you only have 1 piece of the pie left. So you're in front of this plastered over door. As you and Wazuki begin to think maybe you're on the right track. Mistress, you've gone down a different hallway.
Oof.
What are you doing?
Regretting that now. So she's gonna go ahead and try to I think in her head she thinks figure of authority, either in a basement or not on the first floor in some other way. She's gonna go up the stairs of this townhouse and see if there's something going on above. And I think her powers are with people, but in this exact scenario, she's probably going to continue prowling about or studying. Perhaps a prowl to cover as much ground without people noticing, and if they notice, blending in with the crowd.
I like it. You're gonna so you're right now. Once again, there's nobody around. You don't hear anybody near you, so it's controlled, standard effect. To try your prowl roll. You can push yourself.
Desperate. What does that do? If I were to
okay, so you're controlled right now. So to go to desperate, you'd go control standard, risky, great, desperate, extreme effect. So if you succeeded at the desperate roll, you would prowl all over this place and nobody would find you. But on a desperate roll, when you fail, bad things happen. Okay. It's up to you.
I think I'm going to keep with controlled and standard. But what's the devil's bargain?
Devil's bargain is, once again, as you guys move through here,
we're just gonna
you're leaving enough information behind. Enough people are going to figure out who was involved with this situation. And Ulf Ironborn is going to want to come for you guys. Right now, you've got half of that clock ticked up.
I mean, in fairness, since we're going to be the ones potentially moving in there anyway, it's not going to be impossible for him to work it out.
I'm taking the devil's bargain.
It was them.
Oh,
we should get cards and just leave.
Hey.
Okay, so Crit, so you are like a baguette wielding ninja. I mean, you are up the stairs. You've reconnoitered the entire second floor, and you've come over a room, which you don't know is the room right above the plastered over door that Leadbelly and Biscuits are outside of. And you hear through the floor Ingolf Holgerson's voice saying, I want reports on what's going on out there. Get out there with the rest of the crew. Figure out who's hitting us. You hear a back door to that room open and close, and then you hear him in there pacing alone. You guys have found Ingolf Holgerson without the rest of his gang realizing you were there. The three of you are poised. What do?
I assume there's a trap door, right? Or some way I can get in there?
You know what? Here's the deal. I am going to say, because I love the idea of it, that yes, they put a bolt hole for him to go through the roof, through up to the second floor if necessary. So you do find a cleverly hidden latch and a quickly put in trap door. And because you got a critical hit on your prowl roll, I'm going to say you realize that it does have a trap on it on this side, a simple line trap, but you're able to disable it without making a noise. So you were above the trap door. You guys are outside the plastered over wall. Real quick, Placid, you come around the corner. You're bringing your go-kart back around. You see a big crowd of people starting to milling around outside of the maze, trying to figure out what's going on.
Now it's time to clear out the audience. So I am going to conjure a storm.
Beautiful.
Yes.
So yeah, I have to push myself. Yikes. And I'm going to summon a storm in my immediate vicinity.
All right. So that is always a risky. When you're attuning, it's almost always at least risky. So risky standard effect.
Yep.
Obviously, you can go desperate great effect if you want, or you can take a devil's bargain. You're already pushing yourself. So now I will say,
no, you get the extra dice anyway.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you push yourself, you get the extra die and do it. I will say, since this is part of your guys' overall plan, Biscuits is in the crowd. Biscuits, you can aid in this circumstance in clearing out the crowd in some way if you want.
I'm going to go for a desperate and great effect.
I love it. So tick off that XP. So you made 2 desperate rolls tonight, Ben.
There's that. Yes, please. If you're going to give me an extra dice, I will gratefully accept.
I'll give it a go.
So Lewis is in there going, oh my God, a storm or something to that, or Biscuits is.
Yeah.
You get that extra die too. I know that's technically not within the rules, but it's a beautiful thing in the fiction. You get a 5.
And there is a reroll for each of us.
That is true.
Twitch.
There is a reroll.
So you could reroll that.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, and I appreciate the rerolls, but I don't allow rerolls in the game because that throws off the whole stress mechanic in this game. So
it's true. Could we maybe use the rerolls that we have got as an extra dice on a roll that isn't pushed or?
Well, what I was going to say is instead of rerolls, I'm going to give for each reroll you get, you'll get a free extra downtime action during downtime.
That's cool. I will have.
So that's how I roll with the rerolls. So you got a 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the energy, the ghost field, pushes through your body, erupts out of you. Clouds, rain, lightning come belting down. But the spiritual drain of calling this storm so quickly was devastating. You have level 3 spirit burn unless you want to resist it.
I think I shall have a go at resisting it.
All right, so obviously you're resisting against
resolve.
Resolve. You take 3 more stress. How are you looking at with stress there, Placid?
That will take me into trauma territory.
Okay, so Placid calls down the storm. He takes his second box of level 2 harm, spirit burn. So he's filled out his level 2 harm. He's filled out his stress. The storm wreaks havoc in the area. Everyone flees, as does Placid, burned horribly by the spirits, shot and bleeding, cracked ribs. He flees off into the night, not to be seen anymore during this score.
But on the
Biscuits.
upside, you guys have now got a goat cart outside.
That was just a rental, though.
Yeah, but they can put the body in it and sneak it
That's
around.
true. So Biscuits, you see Placid jump off the cart out of the corner of your eye and go fleeing off into the wilds of Fogcrest. The cart is sitting out there with the goats. The crowd disperses. We find ourselves back in front of the plastered over door and above the trap door. The three of you. What do you do?
So earlier, when I mentioned that we had established some sort of contact to each other, I'm assuming, and if you'd like, this could be flashback. Doesn't particularly matter to me. We established some way of indicating that we successfully found the individual in question in a way that would perhaps not indicate that we ourselves were people, like, a bird call or a creaky noise.
I'm okay with that. I will say that is a flashback. That's a one stress flashback
Brilliant.
For the mistress who, so you guys coordinated that so you would make a series of creaks, almost like Morse code in the house. And you all three, from both angles, you hear the creaking noise, let you know Ingolf Holgerson has been found. And you recognize the fact that you're all three in place to move into this room.
That in mind, I would like to turn to Ezeki. I guess the mistress is ready. I'm gonna make an entrance, and then you can also follow and make an entrance. I'm doing mine literally. You're doing yours the opposite of the something like that. So I want to mark off some fine wrecking tools on my load as I'm heavy load. So I'm gonna start like as the creaks are happening, like man, that's too small. That's not right. And I'll get like some big old mallet and sledge. And like, all right, stand behind me. And I want to just throw myself and my sledge into the door to see if I can just knock it down.
I love
subtly.
it.
You don't make any noise anyway right now.
That's
Subtly.
right.
Yeah.
Well, let's. So you're going to be standard effect, a risky standard effect.
Okay. And so what's the whole so can you explain the whole go to desperate thing again? If
Sure.
we're going to go to desperate for a greater effect.
Exactly. So all it is basically you state that, I'm going to push myself. In other words, instead of just coming at the door, you're basically Kool-Aid manning this wall. So it becomes a desperate action for you, but you get the great effect of plowing through this door.
I'm loving that.
Okay.
Is it
Not
actually
only-
the same as pushing where you get
You
harm?
do not. No. Oh yeah. No. I mean, it's a desperate.
Or
No,
stress, I mean.
you get no
Mechanically.
stress. Mechanically, you
Okay.
get no stress. You're changing your position to get greater effect.
Oh, okay. So it's
Okay.
it was just the wording of the push that
Yeah,
I'm loving
put-
that Kool-Aid Man is now a verb.
you got a Kool-Aid
Yes.
man it sometimes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
And does using the wrecking tools do anything at all?
It
I don't know how
improves-
this works.
If you're using fine wrecking tools, it does improve your effect. So if you went desperate, great. Now you're at desperate extreme effect.
Okay. Let's do that. Okay.
All right.
All right. So that, and then I'll push myself to get
An extra die. Okay.
an
So
extra
you take
die.
2 stress. You've got an extra die. You're going in desperate extreme effect. You may not even be able to put extreme in the effect, but
Yeah,
we know
I
what it
think
is.
let me.
Okay.
So I got one. Okay, and then I didn't know if Wazeki wanted to do anything, but you see him getting ready. He's got it out. He's literally going to do like a charge. He doesn't know how to use a hammer properly. He just runs at the door with the hammer slightly in front of him. Okay,
I love it.
well, here goes. Terrible.
or success with consequences, which is it's good. So
I'll take it.
you succeed. You burst through this door, and you see a man standing behind a desk. He's wearing like light mail armor, and he's got a boarding axe in one hand. He leaps over the desk, coming at you. However, you succeeded, so you busted through. and actually your hammer, as he's coming through, strikes him in the chest, and you take 1 box off of his defense. So Ingolf has 2 clocks you have to get through. He's got a defensive clock, and then you've got the clock where you actually capture him. Now, in your move to burst through here with your desperate action, the consequence you suffer is you're going to fill out your level 2 harm, broken both collarbones, unless you want to resist it or use armor to resist it.
Yeah, you do have to have your armor.
Right, I was thinking I've got heavy armor on.
Okay, so
how does a heavy armor work?
So what you do is you can tick off 1 box of your heavy armor and take it down to, instead of level 2 harm, you would take it down to level 1 harm, bruised shoulders. Or you could tick both boxes off your heavy armor, basically making it useless for the rest of this score and take no damage whatsoever.
Okay. I'll go ahead and just tick the 1. I'll have some bruised shoulders.
So
Heavy armor's 3 boxes.
It's 3 load, 2 boxes.
Oh, right, with you.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Of course it is.
So, so you've clicked off your 3 points of load. You've got bruised shoulders. Now that fills out your level 1 harm, so you're less effective. So you'll have to push yourself to get a standard effect at this point.
Got it.
But you're through, and you've smacked your hammer into him. I will give Wazuki and the mistress an opportunity to get into the room somehow if they would like to at this point before things get real.
I'll let Wazuki go first because I have an entrance point as well.
Cool. Yeah, Wazuki is...
And guys, yeah, only if they find, as a good reminder, you don't have to kill these other 6 guys if they don't find you.
Yeah. Wazuki is, with all the chaos that has just occurred, will basically be moving as if they're right behind Leadbelly, using their huge stature as literally like...
You following your blocker in. I got it.
Yeah, and then basically after Buddy gets freaking smoked, Wazuki's just gonna come out from behind and also, do we have to? Yeah, I'd probably just come stabbing, I guess. Do we have to bring him alive? I forget.
Yeah, we have to bring him alive.
Okay.
It didn't say anything
but
about
you can be hurt.
Harmed.
He can be seriously hurt. He just can't.
He can be doubly injured.
I pull out a blade or 2, marking a load.
Okay.
And I, when I come out of the cover there, I guess I then would come in stabbing.
Okay, so in slow motion, we see Leadbelly burst through. His hammer slams into this guy as he dives over the desk. Doesn't seem to slow him down too much. And at that point, we see Wazuki slip around out of his shadow, coming with 2 blades. Mistress, you hear a commotion below you.
Marvelous. That's my cue. The trapdoor, having disarmed it, opens wide, and I tick off a box from my inventory as I near his face and blow a little bit of trance powder right up his nostrils.
I like it. So you guys see Mistress's head come down as she starts to blow in his face. However, before anything happens, the boarding axe comes around and buries itself in Leadbelly, the guy who came through first. This guy is fast, he's hard, and he's way more experienced than any of you. Leadbelly, I need you to resist. Making a prowess resist roll to stop, to see how bad this axe hurts you before your actions take place.
And you still have that other piece of armor, is that right?
He does. But you make the resist, so you can resist with your armor, or you can resist with stress. How would you like to approach that?
It's one or the other, right?
One or the other. Yep.
Well, since I've got the harm, I only have 1 tick of prowl, so that would bring me down to, because an injury is like 1 less die. Is that correct?
No. If you just hit prowess, it'll automatically pull up the resistance roll for you. It won't. It doesn't have your total dice don't diminish.
I'll just do the armor, I think.
Okay, so then do me a favor and roll me 2 fortune dice. I'll let you be the architect of your own potential harm.
Architect. That's one of them made-up words.
It's French.
Four. And 3.
Okay, so the axe comes down, and it would bury it. So it's coming in, and it's going to do level 3 harm to you, where it's going to embed itself right at the base of your neck and tear down into your lungs, punctured lung. You resist it, and you take level 2 harm, destroying your armor, but broken collarbone.
He really wanted your collarbone.
He really wants my collarbone.
He done. However, at that moment, trance powder goes in his face, and Wazuki swings around to hamstring this guy. Let's get a couple rolls to see how effective we're at it deploying our particular. So, Wazuki, we'll start with you. What action do you want to take to bring this giant Scoveland veteran down?
This seems like it's a pretty basically a backstab. Sounds like a good prowl moment.
Yeah, I'm good with that. He didn't really see you. He was already engaged in swinging his axe down at Leadbelly when you slipped out from behind Leadbelly. So, so we're calling this at the moment risky, limited effect.
I would like to move it to desperate.
Okay. Don't forget to tick off desperate for all those of you who are making desperate rolls on your XP marker. Desperate standard effect.
Perfect.
And you can still, if you want, push yourself for 2 stress or take a devil's bargain.
I will push myself.
Okay.
That I have 1 empty box of stress at this current period of time.
Okay.
I love it. And then standard, I'll take the extra die for the pushing self. So I'll have a bonus die of 1.
Desperate standard bonus die of 1.
Perfect.
5. Success with consequences. So you come around, you cut at him, and you take out the rest of his armor. Essentially, you get past his defenses. However, the consequence is level 2 harm. He brings the butt of his axe down on your skull, and it's cracked skull. Once again, you can resist.
But resisting will end up causing me, has a pretty good chance of causing me stress, though, yeah?
Yes, it's a pretty good chance. Or, if you're wearing armor, you can resist with your armor. So if you've got space in your load, you could be wearing light armor.
Yeah, I should be able to do so. Let's see. I've used okay. Yeah, I will. I do have enough to do that, actually, I think. Because we have the extra 2. I'm in a load of normal, so that means I'm at 7. Yeah, I'll take regular armor.
Okay, so you click off your armor box, you resist the blow with your armor, you shrug down, and it comes down on your shoulder instead. We'll call it level 1 harm, dislocated shoulder.
Cool.
But you're past his defenses. Pat, the trance dust, or that is, I should say, Mistress, the trance dust blows in his face. What kind of roll do you think that is?
I'm assuming a skirmish because it's kind of an assault on his person, even if it's not a pow-pow sort of assault.
Absolutely. You can absolutely go skirmish if you want.
Okay. The other option would have been finesse, which is more like, sleight of hand, and I don't really have any ranks in that. I'm assuming skirmish.
Skirmish is fine. So you lean down, lean into the room, blow right into his face. Now, normally this would be limited effect because he is so much tougher than you guys. However, Wazuki has gotten past his defenses. Leadbelly has slammed a hammer into him. So I'm going to go with risky standard effect.
Okay. Risky, standard, devil's bargain.
Devil's bargain. We all know what it is. You guys are going to get fingered for this. Yep.
All right. I'm going to take that then.
All right.
Not bad.
Success with consequences. So the trance powder goes into his face. He breathes it in, staggers upright, looks you all in the eyes, and then falls over backwards, completely out of it. But when all's said and done and the dust clears, you will be at war with Ulf Ironborn. However, you have an unconscious Ingold Holgerson at your feet. You've got a man with a dislocated shoulder. You've got Lead Belly with heavy armor hanging off his body where it's been crushed and cracked. But at the moment, you've got an unconscious man, and the rest of his gang is nowhere in sight.
I really hope one of the two of you can still manage to carry him in this condition.
Okay,
because I can't. Let's go,
Maybe.
boys.
Leadblade's going to take his fractured helmet thingy that he made out of random bits of metal, and he's going to put it over top of the man's face, sort of, and then start dragging him out just because it's funny.
I like it. So you guys know the way out. How do you want to get him out? Or what kind of action are the three of you going to take to get out of here without bringing the rest of this gang down on you?
Waziki could go out first and take make sure the way is clear, or find a way that's clear for everyone to get out, since there's that secret door in the back.
Biscuits
don't know where
try and
to be.
help.
Biscuit, how would Biscuits how would Biscuits help? He is currently unaware of what's going on inside, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, but well, the group of Scotlanders are looking for us. What side of the building are they coming out of?
I like it. What kind of role do you think you would take to figure out where the rest of the gang is inside of this building?
Option B, Lewis. Grab the goat cart and pull up at the back door.
Yeah, actually, I have another plan for the go-kart, but
I will say that, Hunt is a reasonable option here.
Yeah.
Survey would be a reasonable option.
I think Hunt is the most logical option because Biscuits isn't looking for the rest of his crew. He's looking for the rest of the Scotlander gang.
I like it. So that's right now. Nobody's looking for you. Nobody even knows you are really around. So it's controlled, standard effects. So you're outside this building trying to figure out where the rest of this gang is as they move through the building.
I feel like I have uncomfortably less stress than everyone else, so I'm going to push it.
I like it. So you take 2 stress, get that extra die, or you can push it to get greater effect if you want.
I'm going to get the extra die.
I like it.
So controlled,
standard effect. Bonus die 1. 6. You know exactly where they're at in the building. You can hear them. They are making a search pattern through this building. They're bisecting it in a standard search pattern. They're towards the back of the building at the moment. So you could potentially do a setup action to draw them off that would allow the others to escape more easily if you want, but it might put you in some harm.
My plan is to grab a goat, manhandle it to the back of the building, fire a round into the air, and then as they run out, release the goat from the shadows. So they hopefully follow the goat because they'll just see something run past.
It's a thing of beauty. So yeah, what kind of role do you think that is?
I'd love it to be Hunt, but it feels more like a wreck roll because that's just pure chaos.
So with wreck, it's going to be risky standard effect. If it works, it's going to work just like you want it to.
But this one's for them, not me.
This one's for the big bucks.
Any devil's bargains?
Oh, absolutely, devil's bargain. The devil's bargain is that you're going to increase the heat on the gang. So obviously already there's a lot of chaos going on, but firing more shots off is going to increase the. Now remember,
is going to be really angry with us.
Remember, heat isn't necessarily the gang is getting specifically hunted. It's just the heat in the area, the amount of blue coats and inspectors in the area is going to increase, which puts more pressure on the crew. But yes, if you do this, you're going to tick your heat up by 2, +2 heat for the score.
Go on.
We're already at war.
See,
I love a good devil's
do.
bargain.
I love it.
So, wreck. What was it? Risky?
Yep. Risky standard effect.
Effect.
Thing of beauty. So you guys, no one sees it except for some people in the back there trying to figure out what's going on. But Biscuit leads this goat around to the back door, fires off around. You hear grumbling from inside the building, and out 6 giant Scovlanders come rushing out. Oh, what? He's trying to get away. I see him running. And they take off after the goat, leaving the house empty. And you, 3 of you in the house, along with Biscuits coming through the now empty house, are able to drag out Ingolf Holgerson, place him into the cart with the 2 remaining goats, and drive away without anyone else being aware of what's going on. It's the hour before silver. You're just in time. Nobody's seen Placid for a while. The last person who saw him was Biscuits, who saw him running off into the night of Fogcrest. But you are going to make it back to Kolyuchka's in time. What do you do?
That.
So describe to me how you lead this bound, gagged, naked Skov veteran through Kolyuchka's and into Ilyana's office.
We're leaving the helmet on as a little surprise.
No. Let's take it off.
Yeah, we gotta take it off.
God, they naked. I'll remember that part.
What?
Yeah, but we could leave like a note. Like,
Ooh,
Was he
we can leave it on his dick. How about that? We'll tie it up
there?
around
Perfect.
the loincloth.
Waziki's like, I got the perfect idea. How about we take the reins of the goat and put
Yes.
it, collar it around our big old man here and have the goats lead him in.
You have a marvelously inventive mind. I concur wholeheartedly.
So the camera
Okay,
pans
sorry.
open, and it's behind Ilyana, sitting behind her desk, as these goats pull in this bound and gagged, naked Scovlander into her office. Her eyes go kind of wide. You see around her, sitting in chairs, are crew bosses from all the other crews. And the rest of the 4 of you, now that Placid is gone at the moment, come in behind. I'm assuming with 2 lock boxes of coin.
Of course.
Do you follow the plan? Do you just put them on her desk, nod, and quietly walk out?
Oh yeah.
I see no reason not to.
As you slip out of her office and back onto the casino floor, you see one of her lieutenants, Horace Beck, waiting for you. He's like, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't expect you guys to pull this off. We heard a lot of racket down there, but that doesn't matter. You got the job done. Follow me up there to the coat and weapons check. I've got a few cases for you. Lay low for a couple of days, and then feel free to head back to your new turf. Those row houses are yours to manage now. Welcome to the family. With that, we fade to black for a minute. You guys have your 6 coin and your turf. It was an interesting heist. So we're gonna do some experience. We might get a little bit into the heat and maybe into the entanglements before we have to clock out for the night. We'll do downtime next session because I like to really get into downtime and enjoy that. So to begin with, let's start with your crew experience. Your crew of professionals, that's your current reputation, or the reputation you chose. Did you execute a successful accident, disappearance, murder, or ransom operation? Now this is a conversation. I don't tell you how much experience you've got. We come to this together. I personally think you get 2 ticks for that. You killed off half the gang without them getting a lick off on you. You managed to disappear Holgerson without him really killing anybody, which, considering how powerful he was pretty impressive. Contend with challenges above your current station. Yes, they were a tier 2 gang in a fortified position. So once again, I personally would think 2 for that. If you guys concur.
Yep.
Yes.
Did you bolster your crew's current reputation? Now, I would say no. I would say professional. I would say professional for assassins is usually a little quieter. However, you might decide that you picked up a new reputation. I mean, there are other reputations
I think
out there.
we could argue for a new reputation is definitely something that we've got there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what reputation do you think you guys really kind of embodied with this? You know, is it
Weird.
Is there one that's just specifically
Flamboyant?
bloody?
so? I mean, you guys. I mean, it was a pretty
Creative?
interesting and convoluted plan.
Sadistic.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Right? That now I would
Unpredictable.
definitely
Yeah,
see
they
that.
never see us coming.
Okay, so
If they
under
do,
your
they don't know what
reputation,
we're gonna do.
so under your reputation, add unpredictable, and you can keep professional if you want, or you can take it away and just have unpredictable. So I'm going to say, for me, that would be one XP, because you weren't appearance wise professional, but you definitely embodied unpredictable.
I think we probably better ditch the professional. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
I concur.
I think-
I don't see us being professional.
I think us being unpredictable works better.
Sure.
So then finally, express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew.
It
This
was
is
a bit of a
tough one because
shakedown
this is,
cruise, wasn't it?
yeah, it's a bit of, this was your first mission together, your first score. So if anybody's got an argument they could make for this, I'm willing to hear it.
I think we got an
but,
argument for drive, in that we wanted to be acknowledged and have been acknowledged. So we were pushing to be given a role and a place, and we have. So I say we have expressed one of our drives.
I like it. You guys did go into a horribly dangerous situation, woefully outclassed and succeeded. So yeah, I would say 1 for that. You guys, you expressed that. So I would think you're at 6 crew XP at the moment.
I make that 6. Yep.
Okay. And you got turf out of this. Now, when you look at your map on your crew sheet, there's turf to the right and turf to the left. You can have either one. Off to the right leads to cover operations, Hagfish Farm, informants, city records, and cover identity as ways to help out the crew. Off to the left, it's vice dens, training rooms, trophies, protection rackets, and infirmary.
I think we'll go that way for the infirmary.
I agree for the vice rackets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
All
the
right.
infirmary
So you've got.
for the same reason.
So you now have row houses in the maze as your turf. So you picked up your turf. Now you netted 6 coins. So that's 1 coin to the crew and 1 coin to each of you. And all right, let's talk about, so we're going to go away from the crew at the moment, and let's talk about each individually about your experience. So let's start with Placid, because he's the first character sheet I pulled up. And once again, this is a conversation for everybody to get involved with. This isn't just between Placid and me. So he got himself 1 trauma. He's reckless now, but he's cleared out all of his stress. He does have some broken ribs and spirit burns, so he's a little beat up. Now, did you take account for all of your desperate rolls?
I did.
I can think of at least 2.
It actually comes out as 3 because I believe I made
Perfect.
1 before as well.
Yes. So, okay. So you've got your 3 desperates. So those are marked off on your prowess roll. You addressed a challenge with knowledge or arcane power. Now, you definitely did. You gathered information. It was your plan to insult these guys to bring them out. So that's definitely information. You called down a storm
for cover.
To clear the getaway. So
Yep.
personally, I would think that's 2 experience points. I mean, it was risky enough that you traumatized out over it. Anybody want to say that he doesn't deserve any for this?
I will
I like
fight
it. 2
you.
XP. You expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. What do you think?
I think yes, because my background and my story is that he was always something of an expendable. So he's constantly being sent into ridiculously dangerous situations and having to get out of them. So it's kind of what he's used to.
I like it. And to be honest with you, I think it's worth 2 because you pushed your expendable nature to the extreme. You went off on your own by yourself in a cart with goats to attempt to draw off 12 tier 2 Scove war veterans. And when that worked, you then called down a storm. So yeah, I would say, personally, I would give you 2. You struggled with issues from your vice or trauma. No, I mean, you've got a trauma now to deal with, so we'll see how that goes. And we really didn't get any pranking, so I don't really see anything there. Okay. Biscuits. Let's see what we've got for our hound. So, did you make any desperate rolls?
Not as far as I recall.
I don't recall either.
Just too professional.
Get this over here. Okay, so every time at the end of the session, did you address a roll with tracking your violence? Absolutely. I would give you 2 for that. You know, you set up in your blind, you blew the explosives, you track the Scove group through the building from the outside, and then you let them out with gunfire. So I would personally think that's a 2er. Did you express your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? What do you think?
I think Biscuit's background is, his background definitely involves fighting some Scovelanders at some point, so this just feels like a continuation of his life. So he may have taken a bit of more relish in the situation than he otherwise would have.
Okay. I like that. So, and to be honest, so in your look, you've described him as a grim-faced, forgettable man. So when you moved into the crowd, instead of pulling back, you inserted yourself in the situation so you could be more helpful. With your military background, once again, I'd say 2 experience for that. You put yourself in a rough situation. You don't have any traumas. You didn't do any bare knuckle boxing, or the thought of bare knuckle boxing didn't keep you from doing your job. So now that's reckless, but I don't really think so. I mean, personally, I would say the 4 XP. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
All right. Leadbelly. Let's see what we got for our resident leech.
That's my name.
Did you mark off your desperate rolls?
Yeah, I think I did 1 at the end with wreck or prowess, I should say.
Yep. That's the only one I've got listed down too, but sometimes I miss them. Did you address the challenge with technical skill or mayhem? You were the very embodiment of mayhem. I would once again say 2, in my opinion.
Technical skill as well.
And technical skill. You found the plastered over door. So that was definitely very technical, which set up your guys' assault. So I would say 2, personally, unless anybody else wants to argue that point. Expressed your beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. What do you think?
Well, his background is a tradesman who was essentially exiled from various guilds, trader things for being terrible and breaking things. So maybe.
Yeah, I would say at least 1, because your background as a tradesman helped you figure out the layout of these row houses and where to go. Can you think of anything else that would amplify that?
I didn't really lean anything into my stupor this time, or my accuracy heritage, so probably not.
Okay. And just remember, going forward, if in the narrative, if you have particular drives or things that you want your character to embody and you play to those, that can help. They're not they have no mechanical benefit other than experience. But like if somebody had to drive that, I hate Skovlanders and I kill them wherever I get a chance, then that would have been something you could have played into. So just a thought going forward. So I think we've got 3 for Leadbelly.
Yep, that's what I got.
And Mistress.
Oh, wow.
Our slide. You got your desperate actions marked off?
I don't think I did any, actually.
Okay. I couldn't remember
Somehow.
any either. Addressed a challenge with deception or influence. You absolutely did.
Damn straight.
Conning, I would say 2. You conned these guys into chasing after the cart, and you got yourself a perfect uniform that allowed you to move through the house easily. How about expressed beliefs, drives, heritages, or background?
So, heritage-wise, not much, but she is an ambitious bastard and a bit of an incredible sadist who loves watching pain inflicted. I think some of that came through. What do you think?
I do too. I absolutely do. And your trust in me special ability, you manipulated Baz to help out your crew for no benefit to himself other than the fact that he adores you. So personally, I would say you get 2. Because that was a wonderful flashback. I love that.
Thank you.
Anything
right.
else? Anybody else? Let's go with Wazuki and his injured monkey eye patch.
Yeah, I know that I had 1 desperate action. I have that marked down. And I mean,
Stealth and evasion.
Stealth and evasion.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were stealthing through the entire house, so I'm comfortable saying 2 for that, particularly because you led a stealth action, so you put yourself at risk to make sure that the rest of your crew was stealthy. So I would go 2 with that. Express your beliefs, drives, heritages, or background. What do you think?
I say for the background, considering that Waziki is underworld, and seeing. Basically using eye patch as a way to divert from mess up the defensive plans that they have going on. I feel like probably would have been something that Waziki learned in their pirate life, perhaps.
Yep, I get that. And during the gather information, you definitely leaned into your underground. So I would say 2 for that. You did put Wazuki, your Dagger Isles monkey bat pal at risk. So yeah. Okay. So we have we've handed out our crew XP. We've handed out our personal XP. Let's talk a little bit about. Well, let's finish up. Well, real quick, let's finish off your payout. The one thing I did not do is your reputation. You earn 2 rep just for completing the mission, and I'm putting it in right now. And you did deal with a crew 2 tiers higher than you, so you get 2 more rep for that. And we are blocking off 1 of your turf, so you've got 4 rep and 1 turf. You're still level 0, tier 0 with a strong hold. However, at the end of downtime, you will be at war, so you will go to a tier 0 weak position as you deal with Ulf Ironborn. Now let's talk heat. And I know we've only got 5 minutes before we've got a hard cutoff time, so we're going to get through heat, and then we're going to pick up with the entanglement roll and downtime next Friday. So in talking about heat, you would get 0 heat if everything went smooth, quiet, and low exposure. Anybody
Sounds
got a
about
vote
right.
for that?
Yeah. That was totally chill.
Definitely.
It's good that you're scoundrels because you're all lying bastards. Okay. 2 heat. Contained, standard exposure. No.
Standard defined by whom?
Standard
Standard
for us,
defined.
that was a quiet day.
Standard defined by the community where explosions went off, gunfire, smoke bombs, a great storm miraculously descended on the area.
When we got him into the go-kart, there was no one around. Quiet.
It's true. You scared them all off. So loud and chaotic, high exposure. That's 4 heat. Or wild devastating exposure. I'm to be honest with you, I'm kind of on. I'm right between the two of those.
But we didn't blow any buildings
It's our
up.
first
That's
day.
exactly what I was
Only a little bit of one building, so I think
You blew up part of one building.
And that was covered in the smoke.
And that was
so
Lewis,
you know.
who keeps pretending to be the responsible, sensible, calm one.
And you did leave 6 corpses in the street. That doesn't count against your heat, though.
A
because
building
of
fell
your-
on them.
Yeah.
So,
Like bad construction. Like
So, I
none
mean,
of us can help that.
that's
That's why we're moving in to help
I'm willing to
repair the
go.
place.
I'm willing to go with 4 heat. Loud, chaotic, high exposure.
Yeah, that sounds fair to
Um,
me.
It's a practice
the-
run.
Was the target high profile or well connected? No. Did it happen on hostile turf? No. Silkshore is not hostile. Are you at war? Not at the time that the store happened.
Not yet.
And although you killed people, your crew special ability makes it so the death crows do not fly. So you're at 4 heat right now. However, we did take a devil's bargain to give us +2 heat, which puts it 6. And Leadbelly was wearing heavy armor and was out and about. So I'm going to go 7. You're at 7 heat. So somebody put that on your character, on your crew
Tis
sheet.
done.
Yeah.
Now at 7 heat, when we come back next Friday for the entanglement roll, you guys might find some interesting entanglements coming down your line. As a heads up to everybody out there watching, when we do the entanglement roll, your options are a friend of yours flipped on you, or one of the crew gets picked up for interrogation. A demonic force notices you, or another gang takes a show of force against you, or one of you gets arrested for your criminal activities. That's where we'll pick it up next time with our engagement roll. Then we'll do some downtime. We'll see if this stressed out, traumatized crew of assassins can pull themselves together and come up with a new plan that is also loud and chaotic and desperate. Thank you, everybody, for watching, either here on Twitch or later on YouTube. Please feel free to come by Garblag Games at any point on our Discord channel. There's a whole bunch of us always talking about role-playing games, our current shows, food, TV, movies. It's a good time. I know Ben has to get off here really quick, so let's keep everything very, very, very tight as we say our goodbyes. Jeff, what's Lollygaggers got coming up?
Yeah, tonight, me and Aaron switching seats, playing Hunter of the Reckoning. Tomorrow, we're playing One Ring 2nd Edition. And Monday, we're playing Holler for Savage Worlds, twitch.tv/The Lollygaggers.
Pat, quickly, what does Diesel Shot have coming on?
Tomorrow, 4 p.m. EST, same time you saw us starting today. If you are in British time land, I will be running a game of Change Stars for some of my European friends. So come on by. The art is great, and the artists are playing. So come on.
Fantastic. And Ben, what do we have on Garblag next week?
Next week, City of Mist, Coriolis.
Once Upon a Time in the Old World.
That is still on. I was going to say, did that finish or not? I didn't see on Wednesday. Thursday,
We have
You
Dungeons
do.
and Dragons one shot.
Dungeons and Dragons one shot. Yes. Friday,
And
we're
Octoon
back.
Cthulhu. And Octoon Cthulhu
And
at
Octoon
night,
Cthulhu in the
Thursday night.
Americas.
And then we're back. So that's it for us. Thank you once again. Ben, get us out of here.
Ciao, Bella. Nighty night, all.
Bye.